Alright guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel, and today we're going to be doing a very quick no frills video tutorial on how to do VLOOKUPs. And if you're somebody who's struggling with that and often getting the hashtag n/a, that could be very annoying. I'll kind of go through some common pitfalls that I see when helping others with this. And like I said before, this video is made by a student for students, so I kind of understand your guys' point of view, and oftentimes see in these tutorial videos it's coming from experts who know the software really well, and they kind of just go through the examples super quick. But you know, when you're doing it yourself, that you might make just these super small errors that you might not even think are a big deal, but they're really causing you to not be able to use the VLOOKUP function properly. And so just to kind of dive right into an example, let's say you are looking for a name and then the corresponding purchase price. And so for this example, let's just do Ryan, and let's say you're doing your VLOOKUP. Just do equal VLOOKUP and then your VLOOKUP value, comma, your table array, which has your name and your purchase price, comma, index number 3, and then false for an exact match. Then you just close the parentheses and you get this annoying n/a. And this is kind of, goes back to what I was saying about how finicky Excel is. Even if you add these extra spaces, which you might think aren't doing anything, it's actually making your VLOOKUP, for whatever reason, not look in the right spot. So if you just delete the spaces, click enter, now you get your VLOOKUP with the correct purchase price, Ryan, 6,511. And the same is true if you add maybe one extra space or one extra capital letter. Excel can be really finicky with that type of stuff. And so hopefully, maybe you could stop watching the video now and you realize that's what you've been doing the whole time. Because a lot of the times when we type in a word and then press space button and then click away. So if that's what your mistake was, hopefully you could just end the video now and be happy with your life. But for the sake of this, I'm going to do a couple more in-depth examples. And a common way that I could see how you can avoid that problem altogether is by just clicking on the cell itself, copy and pasting into here. That way when you're using the VLOOKUP value, it's going to be an exact match as to what you have in your data set. So let's just say, for example, you have the ticket number 11, and then you want to find the corresponding tax. So you start off with clicking equal sign, and then VLOOKUP should be highlighted in blue, and then you click on the cell that you're looking up the value for, click comma, and then your table array needs to include not only the thing you're searching for, but also its corresponding value. So it has to have the row with the ticket number and the row with the tax. So you highlight the whole thing, click comma, and then your index number. This is where I see a lot of people mess up as well. So you need to make sure you're counting it correctly, otherwise it doesn't know what row to look for the tax for. So in this specific situation, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the index number. So you click 5, comma, false. And false versus true is just an exact match versus an approximation. And then you close the parentheses and click enter. And so there you have it, ticket number 11 to 11. So now let's just say you also have to find for 12, 2, and 5. Oh, sorry. Now you could do the VLOOKUP again for number 12. You highlight everything, etc. But if you did all the steps correctly in your first cell, you could hover right above the bottom right corner of your cell that you did the VLOOKUP in, and when you see that plus sign, all you have to do is left click, hold, and drag down. And so boom, there you have it, your ticket number, and then your tax cell. If you want to just double check, 12, 199, 2, 545, and then 5, 414. Now you might be thinking, hey, this the data set is, you know, within my field of vision, it's super small. Why can't I just, for the sake of the test or for the sake of the technical interview, be like, well, I see number 11 right here and I see it's 212. Why can't I just give that answer? Well, it's because, you know, when you're doing work or when you're doing a technical or an exam, sometimes you might have ticket numbers all the way down to like 1,000. And so you can't just spend all that time looking for a 1,000 or 887 or 67. You're just going to be wasting all your time basically. And usually it's not ordered like in numerically, so you see that's like 1, 12, 3, 7. So yeah, just imagine if it was like 1,000 ticket numbers long. Take forever for you to just visually look and cross-check. And also, you know, when you do that, when the data sets are super long, your eyes kind of tend to stray. So if you know, had 7, you might accidentally enter in 161 for the value if you're just doing the eye test. So now let's move on to the names. So you have a name, a specific name, and then the purchase price that corresponds with that. So let's just say you are looking for Sammy. So I'm just going to copy and paste Sammy, and then you do your VLOOKUP equals VLOOKUP, parenthesis, and then this is the value that you're looking up for, comma, table array. Now, as always, you can kind of highlight the whole data set, but you need to make sure that the index number you're counting is correct. So if you're looking for name and purchase price, if you highlight the whole data set, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, because you're looking in the 4th row for your purchase price data. But what I like to do, just so that I don't have excess cells, is just highlight, if possible, just the cells that you need. So I have a name and I have a purchase price, so I'm just going to highlight this part of the data set, and it changes up the count. So if you highlighted the whole thing, purchase price is in 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you highlight just the name and the purchase price, 1, 2, 3. So there you have it. You highlight it and then click comma, and then the index number for this is 3. But if you highlight the whole thing, it would be 4, comma, and then false again for an exact number, and then click enter. And so for Sammy, you have 3645, 3645. So now let's just say you need to look up for Brandon and Caleb. Again, if you did your VLOOKUP correctly, just hover until you see the plus sign, left click, drag down, and there you have it. Brandon 9555, Caleb 1235. So hopefully this video kind of explains in detail what I'm looking for and my thought process behind it, so you can apply it to your technical interview or your exam. And like I was saying before, just make sure you're really careful on what data set you're highlighting, counting the index number column correctly, and also just if you do have to manually type out the initial value that you're using for your VLOOKUP, just please make sure you're spelling it correctly. Don't add any extra spaces. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing.